So in this video, we are going to do section 9.1, solving systems of equations by graphing. It's based off of this worksheet. So you want to get that worksheet out so that you can follow along. So in chapter 9, we're going to look at systems of equation. So we're given an equation with two variables. We need two equations to be able to solve it. And this is called a system of equations. So it looks like this. We're going to have two different equations with two variables, and generally the variables will be x and y. And when we have a solution to a system equation, it is a coordinate point. It has an x value and a y value. And in order for it to be a solution, those x and y value have to satisfy both equations. Okay, and what that means is that when I substitute it in, it has to be equal to the other side of the equation. So if I want to check if this is a solution, we're going to take 6, -6, and substitute in it those values in for x and y to both equations and see if we get true statements. So for this first one, I'm going to plug in 6 for x because my first value is always x, and -6 for y because my second value in a coordinate point is always y. And I'm going to see, does that equal, so I'll put a question mark, -12. And then make sure you follow your order of operations. So -4 times 6 is -24. This is a -2 times -6, which is a +12. And then we have 24 plus 12, which is -12, and that does equal -12. So that is a true statement. So as long as it's a true statement, we have to check the other equation. If it was not a true statement, you could just stop and say, no, it's not a solution. But for it to be a solution, it has to work for both equations. So I'm going to check the second one, and I'm going to plug my x and y here. So again, x is 6. I'm going to plug that in for x. Y is -6. Okay, and when we plug it in, remember to completely substitute it and not write x anymore because we changed x to 6. Okay, so 4 times 6 is 24. 8 times -6 is a -48. Okay, we're trying to see if this is -24. If you do 24 plus -48, you can do it in your calculator if you're not sure. You should get -24. Okay, and so that works. And so make sure you answer. We're going to say yes, 6, -6 is a solution. Okay. So it has to result in two true statements to be a solution. So let's look at the second example. We want to determine if 2, -3 is the solution to the system of equations. So to do that, we figure out our x and our y. So the first coordinate is always our x, so x is 2. Our second coordinate is always our y, so y is -3. We're going to substitute these in. So to the first equation, and on yours, so this should be 15. That's what your paper says. This should be 15. Okay. So we're going to plug it in. So we have 2 times 2 and then -3 times -3. And we're trying to see, does that equal 15? So 2 times 2 is 4. -3 times -3 is a +9. So I'm going to have +9. And 4 plus 9 is 13. And so this is not true. Okay. So it is not a solution. If it was true, then we would have to check the second equation. And if it didn't work for the second equation, again, we would say not a solution. So it has to work for both. And if it doesn't work for one of them, then we're done. Okay, so this is not a solution. Okay, and so that's the first part of solving systems of equations.